Hey, everybody, it's your PJamma Life. And today we have a pretty fun group of things to watch and to review. So our buddy Pat is on his way, hopefully, and so we're gonna talk about things until he gets here. Hopefully he'll make it, but if not, you got two live crew right here. So why don't you introduce yourself to the people, the guru of all things stores?
Ahoy, you mate. How are you?
Oh, Lord, I made these.
Hey, you can't have a day without me doing an act.
Oh, brother.
You land, get ready, kick back, and get ready for the Pirates discussion of these great shows.
Is it pirate today?
I'm attempting, well, it's pirate, it's cowboy. You know, it's something going on.
Oh. I thought it was that so talk like a pirate day. I don't think it is. So we're gonna move on and talk about how a couple of people tried to pirate another couple's vacation with our first film from Hulu that I think is number one this weekend, Vacation Friends. Let's show something from that.
Yeah, y'all do understand why you can't come to the wedding, right?
Yeah, you're embarrassed by us.
Oh, have you met her parents?
I just signed the checks.
There they are.
You will never marry my daughter.
Please tell me that you brought the dress I sent you.
Met these two animals down in Mexico. Got to know each other intimately.
he didn't mean intimate.
Juby.
Whoa, what?
Oh, it's Spanish. You son of a bitch! You said we were best friends!
Mom, but it's your wedding. It's like fucked up.
Hope you're comfortable in a foursome.
As long as there's at least one girl involved.
Vacation Friends with John Cena, Little Rel Howery, and Yvonne Orji, and I don't know the chick's name, but but it's interesting because Yvonne Orji and Little Rel Howery are in her show Insecure as a couple for a little bit. So I just thought that was a nice little reunion. But they tell us what you think about this.
Well, first off, I think we see with John Cena, he is really trying to follow The Rock's kind of blueprint from the wrestling world into mainstream Hollywood. He's already got his own action DC movie. I've seen that. The works, if it's not out in the stores, it's coming. He's done comedy. He's done a little bit of action adventure. And here, playing a bit of a goofball in this one, continuing it. I thought this was a surprisingly fun little movie. This was it. I chuckle out of it. It was entertaining. I love weddings. That's a little surprise. I absolutely adore all weddings. I hear all the little details about it. If I meet a mother of the bride, I've got wedding plans. 6 hours of my life are completely filled. I won't, but they're not going to stop talking about it. I thought this was a fun little movie. This was a great kind of holiday weekend. Good chuckle. I'm told as something pleasing to the palate as our dinner.
I think so too. I thought this was and interesting because I was thinking in 5 years ago this might have been The Rock, Kevin Hart in this kind of movie.
Yeah,
and they kind of with Central Intelligence, but I think you get that same kind of feeling from. I didn't get as much buddiness from John Cena and Lil like I did Kevin Hart and The Rock. Yeah. Those actually are really friends now in life, and maybe that just has to happen. But I also could have seen The Rock this movie. I think this one, John Cena really stepped up his acting. He's become a much better actor. I'm hoping that he lets go of the wrestling thing, because he just did it WWE a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, dude, you're in motion pictures. You can get an actual script and actual movies.
But you know, story about wrestling, which is starting to get a renaissance across the country as it kind of goes. It's really kind of coming back. Regional wrestling is getting a very big thing too.
Yeah,
I think it's in their blood, and it's something I can see people going back and forth. My gosh, I can remember even a guy who was president of the United States in the World Wrestling Federation.
That's right. That's cool.
Yeah. I can at least one pleasant memory of 45. It might be in that. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of going back and forth. You're right about The Rock. I mean, this is something he could have done. But in the buddy aspect, this was more of kind of like in that comparison, a minor league compared to like the major league of like Central Intelligence. This was like the B team, as it were, this combo. But I think it has real promise. I wouldn't have thought I would that.
And I think little Harry is doing just the right steps in his career.
Yeah.
I'm kind of taking, if you think about it, he's kind of taking Kevin Hart's path along the way. As Kevin Hart comes more on the business side of it, then you know somebody else coming in to fill in those roles. And little Harry, I mean, he hosted the Oscars. He has had a couple of movies this year, I think, and then he's doing different type of TV shows. So he'll have a sitcom, I'm sure. Or did he have one? If he hasn't, he was in a sitcom. He'll probably get a sitcom before too long, and he will definitely see more of him. And even Orgy, Insecure is coming up. She had her HBO special. She's doing movies and stuff now. So I'm really looking forward to these actors. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the actress who played John Cena's wife. I just know her as well as I know the other three. But I'm sure after this, she'll be getting some better roles, and she'll become a household name the way these others will become a household name. So I think it really is a nice, fun, easy movie. I don't know so much because a lot of drug use and a lot of sex stuff that is for little kids necessarily. But after you put the kids and parents, you want something fun and light, you can watch it to get together in bed. So it's a movie, adult fun kind of movie. So
just like tell the kids, oh, that's just something funny. That was just some grass clipping. Those pills, that's sugar pills. That's just sugar high.
Right.
That's all it is. That's just they're just hugging.
Right.
You mix it up. You just kind of, for a few years. They'll know.
Yeah. I mean, kids today are much harder fool than we were at age. So I think that just watch it, have fun with it. Everybody will have a good time. So definitely check out.
Do a great job. I'm not just saying this. Do a great job though of pointing out things that might not be suitable for the whole family.
Yeah.
I really applaud you. When I'm watching these, I'm not necessarily thinking along those lines. So I actually give credit to you with how you lead the program, that you say, because that's good for people to know, to screen for their kids. You do want to.
I mean, I think it's important to just let people know, and then they make their own choice. I don't care. I ain't got kids, so choice. What you're aware. So that is a service we do for you at Peter Life.
For my kids, the ones that the paternity test said no, don't watch any of this stuff. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh my god.
I'm here all night, folks. What can I say?
Yeah. Okay. So let's we're gonna kind of into deeper, and we just discovered a movie that both of us have seen, but not on our list, but we want to talk about. So while we try to see if our buddy's gonna come in, we're gonna to you about the movie Snake Eyes, the G.I. continuing saga. So this is a origin story of character Snake Eyes. And David, why don't you give us your thoughts about it? And do you have any history on the character from the comics or from the a long time since I watched the TV show? But just so you guys know, if you remember, Houston, our very special guest who was here in February, was actually one of the producers, writers, and he did some of the storyboards and so forth. So G.I. Joe was one of the shows. So we actually had one of the creators on there. So that's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. We're gonna get him back at some point. But David, talk to us about Snake Eyes.
Well, and for everybody watching at home, this is not the same Snake Eyes as the one with Nicolas Cage.
Right? That's great. What was it? 98? 1998?
I think this film noir kind of deal. It was so cheesy. It was great in its own right.
Oh, that was a great movie. That was some of the best of his good movies.
Now, this Snake Eyes, this is the third movie in the G.I. Joe kind of Hasbro filmmaking canon. And this was kind of a reboot because the first two, it went off in directions. It didn't stay true to the comics. It didn't really stay true to the action figure card files that Hasbro make. This one had a little bit of controversy too with the origin of Snake Eyes. But you know what? I think this version of Snake Eyes is even better because of the great casting. And I thought this was a fun movie. I don't know how well it did in terms of the box office. I don't know how well it was fully embraced by the Geo fan community. But man, I loved it. And it starts with the leading man who people loved him as the romantic lead. I think it was Crazy Rich Asians. If I'm saying it right. Or was it Rich Crazy Asians? But we know the movie. He is a great action lead.
Yes. And Henry Goldman.
The man is fantastic.
Yes.
He can really, again, he's got a great leading man presence. We've seen we've seen him in romantic comedies. We've seen him now in an action flick. And I think he has really, it's a different version of Snake Eyes than if you read to. And we've seen where there's issues where people have with that. And I respect that. But this version of Snake Eyes is a good one. And it's also far and away the best G.I. Joe movie. We destroyed collection, but it has the best story of any of the three thus far. So the connection, the relationship between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and how they kind of came about, and I thought this was just a really fun story. If you can separate yourself from the canon of those original comics, and the background, and we've got our own third wheel here that we need to keep this tricycle afloat at as well. So, but yeah, see G.I. Joe. If we have time, I'll give just a little quick tidbit about the mythos behind the action figure that was first introduced to the character. But
well, go ahead.
Well, just as really quick, in 1982, when the original set of G.I. Joe action figures came out, Hasbro had a fine item, as all toy plans and budgets will have. They could make X number of figures, but the caveat was they couldn't do any more paint. They didn't have enough money for paint. So what did they say? Okay, let's do it. And he's just all black, so we don't have to spend any money on paint. The paint application So and was arguably the coolest of those original action figures that came out. Part of his coolness was the fact they didn't have enough paint to paint any accessories or anything. That obviously changed in future versions, but there you go. That's why he was truly the Man in Black.
Oh man, see, that's the little kind of tidbits that we need from the experts. Because I always thought it was a cool character in the comics and in the cartoon stuff. I just thought he was cool, mysterious, this and the ninja. That was right up my alley as a kid because I was trying to be a ninja too. So it didn't work. I did like to go around like every these movies that came out I was trying to see. And afterwards, I was going around picking everything and chopping people. So it was very fun. But this movie, we're talking about Snake Eyes. And it was really surprisingly good. I was like looking around like, you know what? This movie is the shit. I mean, it's a great action movie. And I think the story is a good story. And the cast does an excellent job. And Henry, I think Henry Goldman, he is star power. I mean, he's got the look. He's handsome. He's an action guy. He can do action, but he's a good actor. So he can do romantic comedies. He was in silly Christmas movie with one who played Daenerys in Game of Thrones. I think this past one, and he was in a really terrible movie, but he was great in it. A simple plan, and he was in that, and he was in one of my now guilty pleasures, The Gentleman, and he can play villain in that. So he's very versatile. I did. He just burst on the scene, comment. So I predicted big things for him, and he's crossover appeal. So as Asian men are becoming more mainstream of American movies, I think we'll see him take a lot more leading men roles in the future. So definitely, if you're a fan, it's Hasbro, so you know it's not all ages can watch this movie. And I think there was some gore, like kill somebody with me a little bit. So, if you kind of squeamish, sure. But I think everybody can enjoy Snake Eyes. So that's a little bonus from us to definitely, if you can, check it out. So let's move on to our next one. Oh, Pat, did you see it?
I did not see Snake Eyes.
Okay, so we're going to move on.
Fair enough. There we go. I came in at the right moment. Good job.
Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you. But Nandor, the list says that, watch this clip. What we do in the shadows.
We know what we have to do. We have to put Guillermo to death before he puts all of us to death.
But he saved our lives. Still, he should not have done so much slaughtering.
I frankly couldn't give a cat's knuckle about Gizmo. I mean, he's just kind of this fluttering lickspittle that is always bouncing about, always behind Nandor. But Nandor likes him.
Shut up, Colin Robinson. You're giving me the pip.
I've given this a lot of thought, and my vote is...
You don't get the vote.
Hey! Okay, I'll go.
Okay, fine. What would your vote be?
Death. What a brilliant point she has.
I mean, I should really just consider escaping, especially because they're considering, killing me. But I just wonder what would happen if I wasn't here to help them out. They're like family.
I am not trying to kill anyone.
I'm not trying to kill anyone either.
Great.
Except for you!
Good, Kate.
Thank you. Chillax, familiar. We get it. You're a vampire killer with the stakes and the reflexes and all that. Great job. Yay.
Or maybe his poop bucket's full.
We must check.
I hope it's the poop bucket.
One of my facials is back. and so, did you get a chance to watch the show and
I
see
did.
what it was this week?
I did watch that one. It was I do enjoy it. I mean, it's, and you know what really put me over the edge for it, because before it was kind of it was good, but what really put me over the edge is Kristen Shaw. I love her in everything she does. She is perfect. She's comedic perfection. I mean, her voice, everything, and see her in kind of a semi-badass kind of thing, and just still being an instigator. She's Louise. She's everything. I mean, she's the best. I loved it.
Yeah. David, now, did you get a chance? This is your entry into the show. Did you get a chance to back?
Yes. What had really gotten me into the show before. And, I find it really just, it has a very subtle humor to it that, again, got the mockumentary aspect of it that we've gotten accustomed to with The Office, Modern Family. But this kind of turns the vampire genre on its head because of the way you see them mundane. And I absolutely love the vampire that sucks the life out of you, not the blood.
The energy vampire.
Yes, Colin Robinson.
I know some of those because, forget Anne Rice, those vampires are real. They are out there. They are around the community.
Yes.
Aware of them.
They're in the cubicle next to you.
Yeah, I thought this was really fun. This is a really entertaining show, and it's a great little subtle humor. Sometimes out loud, but I just find it just a subtle, kind of under the radar kind of deal. This was fun.
And this scene is introducing another element to it of trying to find out how Colin Robinson's origins, right? He doesn't know, and I was watching with my husband, and he was like, "Yeah, Colin doesn't know how he became a vampire." And I was like, "Yeah, he does." And then he was like, "No, black." And I was looking, and he does know how he became an energy vampire. So it's going to be interesting to see they explain, because the two of the best episodes are Colin featured in first season when he meets up with Evie, an energy vampire. Who sucks the life of people with pity. And that was with what was her name? She was from Saturday Night Live, Vanessa Bayer. And that was one of the best episodes. And then in the second season, Colin's promotion, when he accidentally gets promoted to the boss and then uses energy vampire powers to then suck a life and game a mortifying amount of work. From draining people becomes almost unstoppable. And that episode is absolutely one of the best of the series. And I think that the writing on this is so clever, and they're able to bring in characters from the movies. You saw Tatum with T came on. The first episode, he's an original vampire from the movie. And they have special guests like that Mark Hamill last season, and the Coward Vampire with Wesley Snipes and Tilda Swinton and Evan Rachel Wood, and all these different vampire characters from movies and the TV. Paul Rubens. It was just fantastic. So this is, if you're a funny laugh, if you were kind of like having a bad show, and this was silly and funny with a really sly level of comedy too about different things going on. But the interaction between them is super funny. So definitely, but Now, parents got a lot of cussing, a lot of sex. I mean, they're vampires. Like one of them so sad because a vampire to have sex and live forever. I didn't become a paper bureaucrat. So you're going to get a bad rap. You need with that. Paper pushing bureaucrats of the world. So definitely check out what we do in the shots on FX, and then it's on Hulu if you don't have FX the next day. So you'll definitely be able to catch that. And so our next and entry is What If? And this one is if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands.
We're okay.
In this universe, Stephen Strange didn't lose his hands, but his heart.
So overwhelmed by loss, you will seek answers in the mystic arts. In me.
Okay, transmutation, telekinesis, teleportation. That's a nigh impossible to obtain.
Please, do not do this, or I will be forced to stop you.
You'd have to find me first.
Okay, I'm gonna exercise my my right as chair of this panel to go first. This was the darkest episode I've ever seen from the Marvel. I just kept saying what I was like. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like threes, like triplets. I don't like it. I don't get it. I haven't watched this shit in. It was just too sad, dramatic. I don't like it. I like it because it's extremely well done. Although the animation kind of reminded me very Disney animation in this one, very Disney, and but I knew we would, of course, have to get stories that were, kind of a take, because if you change one thing, you change everything. Right? This is kind of stuff. This was not everybody, I think. Is it excellently done? Yes, because it drew a lot of emotion out of me. But is it something that I'll watch again? And after that. So I'll let you guys. I don't know. It's just my personal thing, but ooh. What you guys?
Well, I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan, so I didn't come to it with the lore and understanding those pieces. This was Marvel meets Groundhog Day, but instead of February 14th, more like Friday, because of the never-ending pregnancy kind of aspect of it. So it was, again, dark is the right word, and I know we're going to have a zombie episode or horror coming up in the near future. So we went from Captain Carter and that love letter to Chadwick Boseman, a really positive, uplifting story. And now that we are seeing the other side of the coin, this is definitely more for a mature audience. This is not a child who wants, the story of the good guys versus the bad guys, and the good guys win at the end of the 30 minutes. This is not for them. Kind of parental warnings here. I thought it was well done, beautifully, but again, it had it's a dark groundhog kind of thing. I kept coming back to the Bill Murray movie Because, of course, in that movie, he tries to kill himself multiple times before he figures out what he can do with one good day. But it had that level of kind of tragedy there that was tough. But they've all been well written. They've all been really kind of so another good addition, if not an uplifting one necessarily in this.
Yeah. That what you think?
I liked it. It was dark.
Yeah.
It was Dave kind of stole one of my lines about it being a Groundhog. It was Groundhog Day meets Doctor Who to me. Because in the Doctor Who legend, what do you want to call it, the canon, there are immovable points in time, things you can't change, things that have to happen in the timeline in Doctor Who, and they had a very long bit about this being a fixed point in time, where things have to happen. Only the greatest dark sorcery could possibly get out of this, and I'm like, okay, so they went there, and Doctor Strange got dark. It was, as Dwayne marks, DC level darkness. Yes, very much so. I mean, it was good to see that, because Marvel does do stories that are dark. There's not the continual brooding, perhaps, of a Batman series, but there, the Punisher, very dark storyline. I mean, he's a big character within the Marvel universe. The Knight Rider. There's so many. There are a lot of dark characters. Blade's a dark character. He goes around killing all the time. I mean, there are some very dark stuff, but they so far within the Marvel universe and the stuff we've seen, they really focused on the more mainstream titles, which are real accessible. The Iron Man, which he had some dark issues, where he went kind of down an alcoholic type of hole, which they kind of hint at a little bit, it's just the briefest glancing hint at, and I mean, there's a lot of dark storylines, but they didn't do any of those.
Right.
I mean, they didn't, and so it's kind of good to see him kind of embracing this a little bit, opening this up. It's not just all going to be heroes. It's not going to be all just bad versus good, and just straight black and white stuff. We got some grays, which is nice. I like it.
But I don't look at superheroes as a bunch of angsty, dark. I just don't. I mean, I want people to be good. I want my superheroes to be good. There's enough darkness in the world. I don't want to sit there and look at something dark. Every week, and so I hope this is a kind of. I don't want to watch a show of villains and defeating, good. I can't be into that.
Something they kind of hinted at too.
Yeah.
Something they kind of hinted at too is that perhaps, the one character that is constant throughout all these episodes is the Watcher.
Right.
And in this episode, the Watcher says, "Can I change it? Should I move it? I could change it." So he's wrestling with his conscience, perhaps a little bit in this, and you're starting to see some maybe an involvement. It's kind of like WandaVision, which looked to be very disjointed when they first put out. It's like each episode is a totally different thing. Well, but there was the one overarching thing was Wanda and Vision. Here we have the one overarching thing through all this is going to be Owatu, the Watcher. He's throughout this whole thing, and he might be taking a more active role, perhaps, in the episodes to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that would be interesting too, because I think he did make the right choice. Don't interfere. It is what it is.
That's what they do.
You get what you got at the end of the episode, which I'm totally unprepared for. So I turned to my husband and was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Wait a minute, it can't be this right here." So, I mean, the fact that they make stuff with that much that makes you feel so much means it's really, really good. It's just not something I want to feel. I don't want to feel that. But I kind of want people to watch it, but I kind of don't. I don't know. Do what you want.
Oh my God, watch it. Everybody should watch it. Just make your own decisions. Everybody watch it. Be warned, it's not happy and everybody wins. So there you go. But watch it because it's worth it. Sad movie should be watched. I'm just saying.
Well, what you can't have sunshine without rain. So
yep.
Well, that brings us all of the things we watched this week. And does anybody have any hit or miss they may want quickly talk about?
One quick thing I will point out, and Industrial Light and Magic has had a hand in this too. ABBA is putting out an album.
Yes.
A video or something, and ILM has worked with them on that. I saw some green screen action on some still images. But, you know, if you're ready to go back to those wonderful disco days of the 1970s, or some of those of the movies which have been great, that have really reintroduced many people to that happy, beautiful music, ABBA's back. Exciting way to end the summer.
The one that I love the most that integrated ABBA is Muriel's Wedding.
There you go. Thank you, Tam. We agree on something for once. Oh my God.
Best.
Yeah, do not watch the other train wreck musicals, but watch Muriel's Wedding for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so great to see a young Toni Collette.
Oh yeah, that was her breakout role.
Yeah, and Rachel, shoot, I forget her name, but she was big too. So definitely leak out Muriel's Wedding and ABBA, and I think it's just gonna be like a virtual concert series where they're going around the world doing their concerts and then this technology. So crazy. ABBA. Pat, you got anything you want?
Well, okay, I'm kind of following up with last week's hit or miss, which was the Spider-Man trailer. If you get a chance, read the graphic novel. It's a Spider-Man graphic novel. It's called One More Day. It basically deals with what if Mephisto, who they've been hinting at for quite a while and all these things, were to come back and change the MCU, which he does in this particular thing. I'm not going to spoil it, but he offers Peter a chance to change everything, kind of exactly like Doctor Strange is doing. And this, what you see in the trailer, no telling what's going to happen, but this is a really interesting book. I just read it, I guess I should say, this week, and because I've seen several things pointing to the fact that this is maybe really closely related to that particular title. It's a really good graphic book, by the way. So that's my hit for the week. Totally, it was wonderful.
And we got news about that, because I think I heard through the grapevine that is being pushed back until 2022. The next Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I heard December was still the date, but for Christmas release, they were looking at.
I'm hearing next year now. So, I mean, these movies are, cost them probably $150 million to make. They not make that with people at home. So they're trying to, bring stuff out maybe next year. Same thing with Top Gun Maverick and MI7. Yeah, those are now. Yeah. And I think that once I'm reading about Top Gun Maverick, this is going to me going to be like Black Widow, where it's not great and it keeps being pushed back. So I think that those two movies probably aren't great, and they're trying to wait until we can get back in the, just be so desperate to get back in the theaters that it'll make a day, but I don't think they're going to make money that they may make before.
It's going to impact, kind of like the math that studios do in terms of their investment production. It's going to trickle down to everything.
Yeah.
The world we're living in right now, I think it's fantastic, though, that Warner Brothers, for example, is partnering with HBO Max. I think it's fantastic that, the Disney Plus, for $30, offering $30. I mean, on one hand, let's see, like how much money, Pat, you've been to movies probably more often and more recent than I, both of you two, than this, this old, 8-track listening, just watching my ball games. How much does it cost to go to the movie in Kansas?
10 to 12. I mean, 12, figure $12 a person.
All right, like $12. So if you and your wife go, that's $24. Now, movie company, the first weekend, the first couple of weekends, they're going to get anywhere between 70 to 90% of your ticket value. The movie theaters themselves, where they make their money, they make it in the popcorn. They make it in Coke and those supersized. That's where they really make bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now the theaters, they're in a world of hurt. And I hate that for them because that's a wonderful venue for entertainment.
Yeah.
But Black Widow, my wife wouldn't go see that with me, but I paid $30, so that's equivalent of more than 2 tickets than it would be for Lawrence, Kansas. $15 is about the price that we would have paid to go to a flick here in the Washington, D.C. area. And that's 100% of that money that's going to Disney and to distribute down to the stars and however else they make their money. So my bet, they're making the value. We are missing. We're losing something because we're not seeing things on the big screen.
Yeah.
Dune is supposed to be something to see on the big screen. Well, no,
I can't wait. I will see it on big screen.
But I can't.
I'm gonna sit my happy ass right on my couch watching from home.
Well, like I don't know if you guys are going to go see Shang-Chi. I've already got my tickets for tomorrow at noon. By the way, Shang-Chi. There's certain things I want to see Top Gun Maverick on a big screen because the big aerial fights are going to look so much better on a big screen rather than my. I got a big TV, but it ain't that big. So I'm just saying, there's certain things that do work better in the big screen. Dune is going to be one of those things.
Yeah, it will.
And I'm just waiting to see how badly they rate Frank Herbert's corpse to see if they keep true to the book or not. Because that's a big thing for me.
I mean, it's a hard thing to do. I mean, that I'm reading I'm trying to finish it, and
it's so good. It's such a good book.
That anybody could make a movie out of it. I mean, it's so
such a good book.
Insane. Trying to get people's thoughts and all kind of stuff. I mean, but everybody should definitely go back and look at the original Dune with Sting and Kyle
MacLachlan and the David Lynch one. Yes.
Yeah, you got to see. I mean, because
I got mad at that one too. Just so you know,
it's terrible. It's wonderful, but it's terrible at the same time. So it's just.
As I really think we could dedicate like a whole show or maybe a couple of shows to Dune because there's a lot going on with the story.
Well,
the change in characters. You're seeing some gender switches with this film different than the book, which I think.
Lee Kynes is supposed to be a female now. Yeah, I would definitely really be interested in doing a book versus movie comparison because. That's one of between that and the Tolkien books are books that I have read multiple times.
Yeah. Well, you could cover too the book side of the PJamma life, and we talk about it in our side. But I think that it's hard to do and it's expensive to do. But now people like me have got used to. Not having to worry about somebody talking or somebody in a fool in the theater, somebody, some kid acting up or crying or something. I can sit there. If I got to go to the bathroom, I can press it. I don't do
That's true.
And I got a nice tea so I can see other stuff. But I'm a movie kid, that's one of my main things of entertainment growing up. So I miss the action of around people and the energy of being around people when you see a Star Wars or you see a something that was supposed to be good that's bad. or booed and you know, it's
Well,
not like that.
It's the same
right now.
It's the same thing as trying to watch. I don't know if you guys have done this. I actually bought virtual tickets to a couple of virtual concerts during the pandemic of artists I really wanted to see, but I know that they're not touring because I want to make sure they get support and what have you. Man, it's not the same thing. Going to a concert and it's the same crowd energy you're talking about when you go to a movie theater. And even because, you know, I go to a lot of movies, but I'm going at noon on Sundays. And nobody goes to noon on Sunday. I'm like me and Sherry and maybe two other couples, maybe if it's a big title. So you know, it's like it's safe. It's safe as watching it at home, really. And Sherry gets movie popcorn. So there we go.
Yeah. So people. Now that we come to the end of the show, please, get the vaccine. For the love of all things holy, get a vaccine. Still, people won't wear them and get the vaccine. Still need to wash your hands, social distance, and encourage the people around you to get a vaccine. Our best, so that we can defeat the virus. We're not going to do it with some kind of sheet medicine. We're not going to do it with herbs from the garden. We're going to do it with people in vaccine. So I want to end with that. Get your vaccine. It was coming to the fall, and we saw what happened last year. We see what's happening right now. Hospitals going up. COVID deaths going up, all amongst pretty much the unvaccinated. So if you don't be there, vaccine. You guys want to say good night?
I was going to say so long to everybody. Well, as Pam said, I think it's true. Get the vaccine. Not only just protect yourself, but as long as there are people who don't have it, then this virus will mutate. We went from a bad disease to something worse than Delta. I'm reading about something called Mu or Mu already. It's Mu. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. This thing will continue to mutate. It's going to do that. The more vaccinations we have, the better chance we have of mitigating its effects and improving the quality of life for all of us. So take the vaccine and keep watching something fun.
Yeah.
Same thing, guys. Watch out for MU. That's what I call it because I hate MU anyway. Yeah, that's right. So I wear my Jayhawk shirt. Forget MU and it's damn COVID virus. Just wash your hands and don't. And you know, I will tell you just something I've ran into. Don't guilt people that are vaccine hesitant. Try to talk to them. You know, understand that they're scared about it for whatever reason. You know, belittling people doesn't get them vaccinated. It makes them hate you and think you're a pretentious snob. So gently encourage people to be smart. Otherwise, just let Darwin take care of it. So there we go.
Don't get what you call a mask hole. Wear your mask.
It'll be a mask hole or was it a spread neck?
Yeah, don't be a spread neck. Just get your shot. And that way, we can all be here at PJamma Light. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Sorry I was late. Sorry.